Today, kids, we learn how to knowingly cause lifelong injury to hundreds of thousands of U.S. soldiers and get away with it. All you have to do is be a corporation. Once upon a time, there was a company called 3M. You might know them because everybody loved them, right? When they made the billion masks during the pandemic. I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, everybody's like, where are we going to get enough face masks? We need like a quadrillion, and the entire U.S. has 7. Well, what are we going to do? So people were wearing all kinds of weird shit on their faces. And then a few companies like 3M, they stepped up and they were like, we got this. We are national heroes. We're like the dudes who landed on the moon. And I was like, no, you aren't. You're fucking making a boatload of cash. You're not sacrificing your life running into enemy fire with a knife between your teeth. This one's for the children. Now, you saw that you could make $1 trillion by pumping out face masks. Stop acting like you cured polio with a 3rd grade chemistry set. Anyway, 3M made a lot of face masks. Not mine. Mine were made by Frito-Lay. So in a pinch, you know, when I was on the bus, I could eat them. They were delicious. Do you have any idea how much guac you can fit on those things? That's great. But a lot of people were wearing the far less edible 3M masks. But 3M doesn't only make pandemic masks. They also have a company called Aero that makes earplugs, like industrial earplugs that are military wear. So the soldiers can do their important work without being interrupted by the screams of their victims. That's the worst, when you're trying to kill a bunch of people and they're all like yelling and yammering and you're like, I can't even hear myself think. Could you tone it down while I'm trying to bomb you? But it gets even better. Aero and its parent company, 3M, had supplied millions of earplugs to nearly all the troops who served between 2006 and 2015. Each pair of earplugs was faulty due to a mechanical flaw discovered in 2000 and subsequently hidden. Now, more than 160,000 veterans, current service members, and civilians are suing 3M for hearing loss in one of the largest litigations of its kind in U.S. history. 3M gave them earplugs that actually failed to plug the ear, which is like the one job. It's one job. So 160,000 former troops have hearing loss or tinnitus. That would be like if a company gave 160,000 people butt plugs that didn't actually plug the butt. Does that analogy work? No? Anyway, that 160,000 military personnel harmed is actually now up to 290,000. So how are those lawsuits going? Well, a few months ago, 3M was ordered to pay $77.5 million to a single veteran in the latest earplug trial. So if every one of the 290,000 veterans were to get awarded $77 million, then 3M would owe, carry the $1 trillion. My calculator is just saying, fuck you. They would owe all of the money on the planet. Point being, if you're a greedy-ass corporation in an unfettered capitalist state and you've intentionally distributed faulty gear harming several 100,000 people so you can make a quick buck, what do? You spin off your healthcare unit and seek bankruptcy protection for the part of the company that permanently damaged a few 100,000 people. Ah, the spin-off. Just spin it off, right? Just a little spin-off. That's capitalism speak for cutting off the limb that's causing you trouble and leaving it to die alone. You know, like if a guy were caught slapping the asses of dozens of people on the subway and he was arrested for sexual assault and he could just chop off the offending arm and go, I don't know what that thing's been up to. You can have it. You can have it. Arrest it. Throw it in jail. I don't even care. We hardly know each other. We don't spend any time together, really. I'm a completely separate entity. And in fact, my name is Stanley. That arm is Bruce. But if you know how our greed-based corporate rule functions, you might have guessed that's not the end of the story. Or maybe I should say that's not the beginning of the story. Arrow, which is owned by 3M and made the earplugs that don't plug ears, they were established in July 1995, and they showed the signs of a financialized scheme from the beginning. Arrow was born when the Cabot Corporation, a maker of protective equipment, was caught manufacturing faulty respirator masks. Cabot distanced itself from the situation by bequeathing the respirator business to a newly formed subsidiary they called Arrow. The Arrow was a front company from the start. The company that made the faulty earplugs was born when its parent company made faulty respirator masks. Jesus Christ! These assholes are like Michael Peterson of healthcare devices. People just keep winding up dead at the bottom of stairs, and Peterson's like, I don't know where that body came from. Just stairs are slippery, aren't stairs are crazy. Why do we even have them? They're so deadly. Well, Arrow/Cabot/3M is like, we don't know why that device caused more harm than good. That's so wild. Again. Ha! Also, we changed our name. It's a symbol, actually, now. It's like Prince or the child Elon Musk had with Grimes. You know, you don't actually say the name of our new company out loud. You just kind of feel it. You know, it's just like a, ooh. Well, actually, it's like a, you know when you have like expired eggs, you eat expired eggs, and then you also have like yogurt that's been sitting out in the sun too long, and you just feel like, oh, that feeling, that's the name of our new company. Of course, this is nothing new for our corporate-controlled world. Corporations can cause all sorts of unimaginable harm and simply spin something off or change their name and keep going, making millions for the ruling class. After Blackwater massacred a bunch of folks, they changed their name to Z. And then they changed it to Academy. And finally, to Meryl Streep, because focus groups have a very, very positive view of the name Meryl Streep, even when it's referring to a brigade of brutal, savage-like mercenaries who murder children for weekend passes to a strip club. Corporations can do that shit. Average people, you and me, we can't just spin off a bad part of us. We can't just change our name to avoid punishment. I mean, we can, but it won't make a difference. Ask a rapper. You're going to jail, Bernard. My name's Dollar Bills. You're going to jail, Dollar Bills. The behavior of 3M and Arrow is just another example of how our criminal justice system is designed of, for, and by the rich ruling class. Hope you enjoyed this episode of The Most Censored News. We're completely funded by people like you. Complete, independent funding. If you want to see this show continue, become a member on Patreon. Keep fighting.